welcome to the latest. I mean, this is going to be the greatest. I say it every time, but this will be the greatest episode of What Did I Miss? My name's Michelle. We've got Gabe. We've got Paige. Paige and I obviously are in character for our Top Gun special. Thanks a lot, Gabe.
Yeah, it turns out that aviators don't look like sexy and cool on most guys.
Yes, they do.
No, there's one man on earth who can pull it off, and we're talking about him later. I just wasn't right. So you guys look great. I'll just stay like this.
All right, fair enough. I know. I don't even know why I put mascara on. That was a waste of my time. So yes, we are here. We're going to do a little Top Gun. We're going to do a little review, a little sportscasting, but a couple of things we got to get out of the way because we are technically in the middle of these NBA finals. Boston with a 2-1 lead. Am I wrong in saying this series so far, other than game one and only because it had high drama and a crazy turnaround, I'm bored. I'm bored. Am I the only one that feels this way? Other than crap that's happening off the court, a lot of words being exchanged and generational fighting, there's just, and Paul Pierce, it's boring. I have not been entertained. I have been tempted to watch other things. And we're talking about the NBA Finals. That's not right. What do we do? How do we fix it?
I've been more interested in watching
Steph has
Draymond
to fix it.
Post-game.
Steph has to fix it. Oh.
Steph does.
Well, Steph does have to fix it. And also, I think we're all sort of waiting on, maybe something crazy from Klay Thompson, like a really crazy, crazy, crazy game. I don't know. I don't know what we're waiting on. I just know I'm waiting to be entertained.
Well,
and it hasn't happened.
Here's the thing. When we watched the Warriors in the peak of this dynasty, which I guess they've extended the dynasty into this year and maybe beyond, right. But in the peak of it, when it was them and the Cavs going back and forth, we were like, and sorry, Beadle, but it's true. We're like, oh my God, we're watching the best team of a generation against the best player of a generation, and this is competitive, and every game seems like it's being decided by some amazing performance by someone. Mm-hmm. And here we're just kind of watching two teams somebody's got to win.
A double-digit win? I want 1 point, 2 point at the buzzer, possibly in overtime. This isn't it. This is not it. When I'm looking for other things to watch on Netflix, that's not right. And by the way, this is very high on the board, this finals.
Great call.
Yeah, this is a board item, and it's bumming me out because I love the NBA finals, and I didn't watch them for a year or two. And so now it's just ugh, did I even miss anything? It sucks.
Do you find yourself...
But yeah, and also, why did you apologize to me on the other one?
The apology was based on my love for LeBron that was insinuated, which goes counter to your very overt dislike of LeBron.
I have a dynasty in my fandom world, so I'm good. LeBron's not a dynasty, but Spurs are, so I'm good with that. We're good. But so yeah, I don't know, Paige. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, do you find yourself after that game one situation? I found myself last night being okay, this is the quarter where it's gonna happen. Once again, all this crazy stuff, and then it just never did, which is a bummer. But do you find yourself in that headspace?
Well, it did. And look, that third quarter is Warriors' third quarter, right? And it even, again, last night, they were sort of all of a sudden it was a close game, but they just couldn't sort of keep that gap closed long enough. Boston kept pulling away. So yeah, I want that to stick so that we could go into the fourth quarter, and still be a bit of a close game, because it just doesn't feel like it. And the body language on the Warriors and sort of the whining them afterwards about quote unquote rude fan. It's Boston, guys. They're called massholes for a reason. Okay, that's not a term of endearment because they're sweet and cuddly. It's because they're massholes. And honestly, as a fan who also tends to veer closer to the obnoxious side than the not obnoxious side, I don't have a problem with it. Being a sports fan, that's part of it. Part of it is being rude and obnoxious. And also, let's not pretend our virgin ears haven't heard bad words before, because that's ridiculous. I'm hearing a lot of whining out of the Warriors side of things, including wives, about bad words. Can we grow up? Can we grow up?
We had some good celebrities in attendance, though.
Name 3.
I have the list in front of me, so sure. Nelly.
Wow.
Nelly.
Instantly.
Guy Fieri.
Nelly. You're going Nelly's number 1.
Guy Fieri.
Okay,
Nelly was the halftime performer. I sent this to Gabe. I did catch on Instagram. Okay. I think ESPN or somebody posted something, and you can see Nia Long say to Nelly, great to see you. And then she says, are you from Boston? And I thought that was shocking. He's famously from St. Louis. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Is it the connection Jason Tatum, St. Louis connection. Isn't that why he was there? I thought that's why he was there. Okay. Yeah. Nia. Come on, Nia.
Come on.
You're better than that.
But we got Nelly.
So Guy Fieri.
I have the whole list.
Nelly, who was paid to be there.
Nelly was paid to be there. Shout out to him. Nia has to be there for her fiance, husband. They're married. I don't know. Bob Kraft, actually. Bill Belichick, John Wall, Guy Fieri.
Stop! Just stop! You did not. You stopped naming celebrities 4 names ago. Fine, but they're also supposed to be there. Like these aren't celebrities. Like was Jay-Z there? That's a
Guy Fieri.
Drake.
Come on,
those are
Guy
NBA
Fieri
celebrities.
Is the best one, I think.
Yeah, that's the one
Jadakiss?
name you've named. Also, do you see who was sitting next to? Oh, garbage.
Millies?
Can I ask a question? Can you, because you guys are a little cooler than me, and you will be able to explain this.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure for the last 10 years I've been like out on the joke. Does everyone like Guy Fieri ironically, or is this sincere? Do people actually like this guy?
I can only answer for myself. Full circle. So I started out not liking Guy Fieri, and I thought, oh, this guy's such a hack cook, and I don't know, and like, good for him, he built an empire, but I'll get it. Full circle in the last probably year or so, I genuinely love Guy Fieri. Mm-hmm. Like he has, and it has a lot to do with things that are not, like he does a lot of really great things, like supporting organizations and helping out when times of need. And he's, just things that he does that are not necessarily part of his character or brand. Yeah. And so I've grown to like him. I went from full ugh to, oh my God, I love Guy Fieri. So yeah, it's weird. I mean, the outfits are questionable, but that's his brand. I can't get mad at that. And I watch all of his shows, like Diners, Diners, and Diners. I watch it all the time.
Guys Grocery Games.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's
Guys Grocery, GGG, Triple G. Yeah, it's all.
Triple G.
The showdown. Okay, so there were a couple celebrities there. That's kind of disappointing, actually, all things considered, what we're talking about. But yeah, boring. I'm bored, and I'm bored with Klay Thompson whining, and I'm bored with Draymond Green, and I don't know. It's just, I'm hoping this next game is something, and we can turn this thing around and get 7 games out of this thing that are good. That's all.
You know what you could do instead? This is a tip for everyone. I'm jumping the gun. I'm sure we would have gotten to this in a future episode. Fourth quarter, it looks like a dud. Do what I did. Switch over to HBO Max and watch We Own This City by the same guys who made The Wire.
Ooh.
Great 6-part series about Baltimore police. Baltimore.
Ooh.
Much more entertaining watch than the fourth quarter of these games.
Okay. I mean, I could do that. I started something last night, much in the same vein as I started Anatomy of a Scandal on Netflix. So yeah, I think it's like a drama, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's probably what's happening now is we're just moving on. But by the way, this is not the time of year where we're supposed to be wanting to watch other things. That's what, like, this is not. All I'm saying is game 4. Bro, ring it. I cannot have Paul Pierce, and I love Paul. He cannot be the most entertaining part of the game. That's just not how this is supposed to work.
Unless he's pooping his pants.
Unless he's pooping his pants. I did ask. I texted him and asked him for that jacket. I mean, he is. As he responded to me last night, I'm lit. Fire emoji. And I went, yeah, no, we all see it.
We know.
we get it. Yep, we get it. It's cool. So that's basketball. I wish we had more to share about it, but we really don't. Yeah. We're just going to hope for the best. But we are going to full circle that and combine it with Top Gun in the next segment. So that'll be our sort of respecting the NBA, I guess, because they don't respect us right now. In other news, the rich people are turning on each other. Are you guys saying what's going on in the PGA? Oh my God. First of all, who gives a shit?
What?
Like the LIV Tour or LIV
those
or
guys.
Blood Money, whatever they're calling it. I don't know. But the PGA wrote a sternly worded email.
Full Karen.
And for the PGA, that's dropping a hammer. That's like full, like, we are angry and you can never come back, which we all know that's probably not going to stand either. But like, do you guys have an opinion on sort of where this golf thing is going right now?
No, look, it's not like this is sort of the same conversation we just had with Elon Musk recently. It's like, what did you think a bunch of rich white guys running the PGA or performing on the PGA Tour were really motivated by? What did you think these guys were all about?
Altruism.
Like, are you now like suddenly like expecting some moral clarity from a multi-millionaire golf kid who's grown up a golf kid? Like, you want that guy to be your moral compass? Come on. This is not shocking. And so they want to make 10x the money. I'm not surprised. I don't even understand what people wanted from Bryson DeChambeau and Dustin Johnson. Like, this is who they are.
Dustin Johnson. First of all, we know who Dustin Johnson is. If you know anything about his wedding and where it took place, we can go ahead and assume what we can assume about Dustin Johnson. We know. We get it. Secondly, like, if NFL doesn't give a crap about what's turning out to be a serial predator and allowed him to be given the most amount of money in the history of life, then don't look to the most white bread country club sport that exists on planet Earth and be like, this is where I'm going to go to learn how to give a shit about the world and other human beings around me. That's not it. That's not where it comes from. And look, yeah, is it blood money? You're damn right it's blood money. Would I want to have anything to do with Saudi Arabia? No. Am I already pissed off that the World Cup's in Qatar and we're going to be forced to have to watch that shit? Yeah, I'm angry about that too. But am I naive enough to think that there aren't about 1,000 other companies in bed with China, which is also not the cleanest of the monies? So yeah, it's just a shit situation. The difference being is that we actually heard an American journalist be chopped up. We heard it. We know it happened. So that's the difference here, is that you'd like to think that we would draw a line. You know, it's like the old Ray Rice. We saw the video, so now we know. Versus we didn't see the video, so we could pretend to be stupid. We have a video here, and we have audio of this. And so it just bums me out, but I don't think I could possibly be less surprised. Like, even if I tried to fake it, I don't think I could be less surprised. And look, Phil he is straight up in the middle of some sort of a crisis. Like the outfit and the hair and the denying gambling situation. It's a crisis. Like, I don't know what is going on. But I think all of these people, when the money starts to talk again, they'll be back for the PGA if that's what the PGA decides. But yeah, here we are. Am I watching any of it? No. Do I watch a bunch of golf anyways? Not really. So I don't miss out on any of it. And I don't think a lot of people have pillars of morality that they stand on when it comes to sports and sports viewing. And we've learned that time and time again. So
what a
here
bummer.
we are. And that's how I'm going to end real serious arguments. That's it.
Farts.
Yeah, I know it is a bummer. I mean, by the way, it is from a completely, totally like monopoly sort of surreal. The ability to write these checks that they are able to do is mind-blowing. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars just to show up. That's crazy. Like, that's crazy money. But yeah, you got to draw a line somewhere, and we all have different lines. We all have different principles. It is what it is. What are you going to do?
I do like that.
So from that fun story,
I like that the PGA is going, yeah, I see this transition. Give me 10 seconds before we go there. I do like that the PGA
I don't even want to go
seems to be going a little scorched earth. And I want them to do more of that. I like that for them.
Sure. Yes. Well, that is.
I didn't think they were going to put out a statement to begin with.
Is their scorched earth?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think they're also. Maybe I'm wrong, but are they a little surprised that more people left? I think. Look, Dustin Johnson, I think was a moment. I think everyone, the Phil thing, who cares? You had a bunch of other names that nobody's watching anyways, or that weren't performing, and they're on the back nine anyways. Haha, get it? But it's just like, and then I think a couple more threw their hats in the ring yesterday, and what we learned about, and I don't know. But look, as long as you keep Tiger, I think you're fine.
Right.
You got to keep Tiger. That's it. Why, you think Tiger's going? I mean, they offered him $1 billion, according to stories. $1 billion with a B.
There's nothing to suggest that Tiger would be like, no, this is where I draw the line. Like, if Tiger wants to do it, he's gonna do it.
Okay, well, begging a Perkins waitress and taking blood money are two different moral.
That's not what I'm
stands.
referring to.
Oh, I thought you were worried about morality with Tiger. It's like, because that's different. I don't mind that.
Yeah, okay. I'm not judging Tiger's infidelities. I'm talking about Tiger, all of Tiger's other views on life, which we can interpret through some of his actions and who he's buddies with. I don't think that Tiger Woods, like some of his white colleagues, is going to suddenly have some epiphany about Saudi Arabia and their actions in the world. I don't see it coming. If he wants the money, he'll go take the money.
It is crazy. A lot of sports, like, I mean, WWE went, F1 has issues as well. Like, you know, drivers don't want to be there, but they still have, you'd think it would be easier to just say no, because the money will be made elsewhere. Maybe not that amount of money, but it will be made elsewhere.
Yeah.
And we're not talking, like, the thing that's bugging me is that I'm hearing, like, call-in radio douches, like, oh, the money. I was like, Dustin Johnson has made something like $73 million in winnings plus whatever his sponsorship money was. So he's not exactly like eating ramen every night. So we don't need to sit here and pretend like, oh, we had to do this to support our families. And then Phil's worth like a half bill. So, I mean, granted, I don't know how much of that's gone to the old, but you know, whatever. That's his own problem. It's not my issue. Do what you got to do. I have $100 riding on the Warriors. I totally get what it's like to be addicted to gambling.
Celtics. You're a degenerate. You've been on both
Celtics.
teams.
Win-win. I know, right? That really is a degenerate. Yeah, so that's the golf thing. I'll be curious to see what kind of viewership they get. I guess you can watch it online is what I'm understanding.
Yeah, YouTube, Facebook.
I don't really watch shit
Who
online.
cares?
Yeah, we're not doing that. And then there's Jack Del Rio. Do we want to even address? So much happened yesterday. Yesterday was like a garbage sports day. There was the New York Times piece, shout out, on Deshaun Watson. Again, proving once and for all he is garbage, and we were all right, and now it's their problem. And then Jack Del Rio stuff came out where, I mean, look, the quote is, I can look at images, and now he's comparing like Black Lives Matters and police shootings, those type of protests to what happened on January 6th at our nation's capital. And he says, I can look at images on the TV. People's livelihoods are being destroyed. Businesses are being burned down. No problem. And then we have a dust up at the Capitol. Nothing burned down. And we're going to make that a major deal.
Yeah. Yeah, he did come out and apologize for that and correct the record because probably someone told him he had to.
He put out a
Even
statement.
though
He
what
did not say those words
no idea.
into a
Yeah,
camera.
No.
not.
Somebody helped him write up a clarification on the dust up. He knew that dust up wasn't good.
No,
or someone
but-
told him dust up wasn't good.
It doesn't matter. It took me a 14-second Twitter search on his page and his responses and tweets over the course of the last year, 2 years, to very much understand who Jack Del Rio is and what he believes in and what he's all about. Now, what I find interesting is the career path that he's chosen for himself and the colleagues and peers that he surrounds himself with on a daily basis. How are you, like, I don't even know where to start because there's inside of me, I just want to yell bad words. Like, first of all, somebody died at the Capitol, okay? So let's just go ahead and not forget that. A person doing his job, defending the Capitol, died because these monsters decided that an election was quote-unquote fake and that they didn't like the outcome, and so their solution to that was to overthrow the government, or at least they thought that's what they were going to try to do. So that is not nothing. That is not a dust-up. For a group of humans that are so worried about how we treat this country and our rights and our love and our patriotism and our flag waving and our this and our that, the one time where it looked like they were literally trying to overthrow our government, they don't seem to have an issue with that. And for me, that is the most blatant disrespectful thing that has happened in at least my lifetime. So, and it's still being dealt with, and it's not a dust up. And protest, while there were some bad images, sure, there are always going to be outliers and bad people do. There are also tons and tons and tons of peaceful protests. And protests are very much part of what we're allowed to do here because it's a democracy. And they weren't trying to overthrow the government. So like, and you go into a locker room full of black men. You're going to just keep doing that now? You basically like mocked the George Floyd murder. You've mocked everything that people believe in. You've made it sound like what you believe in is a noble cause, not just some spoiled ass bunch of people who don't like something. And you're going to walk into that locker room with a straight face, bro? You got some sort of set of weird, like, delusional balls that I don't understand. But good luck to you, I guess. I'm not playing for him. There's no way.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
what I needed to see.
Well, what's interesting to me about that, yeah, I mean, I think we were able to form an opinion about Jack Del Rio before he even said this. This will just put him in the spotlight for a few days. What's interesting to me is what you're getting at with how the players in the locker room would react to this and more importantly, how his boss, Ron Rivera, a guy who most of us believe is one of the good guys and one of the more enlightened head coaches in this league, and a guy who seems to be on the right side of, at least what we view as the right side of a lot of these issues that have come up over the last few years. So I'm curious what the pushback inside that organization will be. An organization that, by the way, is a dumpster fire unto itself.
I mean, that's the piece of resistance. It's them again. Like, how is it always them? Always them.
Well, and so I'm wondering, though, to your point, because, Beadle, you've talked to a lot of athletes in a lot of different sports, and on camera and off. Well, I've asked a bunch of guys away from cameras about, like, yeah, but, like, what if a guy just is saying and doing things that you just really hate, you really disagree with? I'm not talking about, like, some guy who has a nuanced argument about the Second Amendment and it's some political thing you don't want to get into in a locker room. I'm talking about, like, this type of stuff.
Blatant.
Like, yeah. Do you guys, like, want to work with that guy? Like, is it like a regular workplace? And most football players I've talked to will say, like, we're all focused on the same goal, which is winning. We can ignore each other on that stuff.
Right.
We might not hang out, but we want to win, and we're fine playing next to the guy if he's good.
And look, we've worked with Marcellus Wiley, who loves Jack Del Rio. I mean, I haven't talked to Marcellus about this, but knowing Marcellus a little bit, I think he's probably going to still love Jack Del Rio. And it's a trait that seems to be very much a part of professional sports. And I really want to say men. I think men have a much clearer idea of how to compartmentalize. And I can only compare this to me because I do not have it. I am very bad at it, and I try. And there are times where I think I'm doing it better, and then some crap like this happens. I'm like, nope, I can't do it. And so they can compartmentalize to the sense where they're like, that's one part of that person. It's not the part I deal with on a daily basis. This is what we're all here to do. Let's just focus on that. But I do think that the younger generations that are coming, the ones that are a lot more vocal, they lean towards more of like an activist vibe, and they're more aware of their surroundings and the world around them. I don't think they will be as quick to sort of dismiss these types of moments as maybe the generation before them. Because this is their world. Like, they have grown up. These guys have grown up in this sort of shit show that we've put together as a country, whether it be the gun situation or the protesting or the cops or that. They're in it. Like, they've been in it since day one. Their memories are all about it. And so it'll be interesting to see. This is the crossroads now where Jack Del Rio's generation is crashing into the new generation. And I don't know how much longer a Jack Del Rio has, to be honest, especially when you say dumb shit like this and tweet about it. Like, it's not even just, this wasn't a one-off. This is him. This is him, and it's on. I don't follow him on Twitter. This was a fun rabbit hole I went down. And so I don't know. I don't think he's long for this world as far as the future goes, personally.
I think he's the personification of delete your account.
Yeah, also, why does Jack Del Rio have a Twitter? What do you need a Twitter for, dude?
know.
You're like 100.
Petition
What are you doing with
to
Twitter?
remove Twitter
Come on now.
from
Aren't you? But isn't he
white men
Facebook?
over 50.
Yeah, he's Facebook demo. Yeah, your people are on Facebook. Go over there. That's where you guys have deep conversations.
Right. Scream into the void.
I think there's something very interesting that we should unpack at a later date on your distinction here, because I think you might be right, Beads, about this being a male-female thing. I don't know if that's the case, but I would say I as a man do understand the idea of certain relationships are transactional, and I think a lot of very smart NFL players would roll their eyes at Jack Del Rio, but still understand that he is important to their success. So they will put up with him for their own gain in a way that probably a lot of women would not.
I mean, yeah, and I'm only going off myself. Like, I have time and time again not done things or not worked with people or, for my own personal reasons. And that's what I chose to do. I've turned down money for my own personal reasons because I was like, this is not okay. So I don't admire it because, frankly, I wouldn't change anything about myself in that regard. It is what I am. But it is a very interesting personality trait that some people can, and I notice it more in men. I mean, even just speaking in the men in my life, they can separate the person from like sort of the product or the entertainment that person provides. And look, we're about to talk about Top Gun. Tom Cruise is a really good example of a person who is not easiest person to root for necessarily. If you've read anything about Scientology or you've watched any of the documentaries, I mean, there's a million places now to sort of learn about Scientology, not just the cool pamphlets that they hand you out in LA, but like really learn about what goes on. It's tough. It's, depending on how far you want to go into it, it's not great. It's not a good organization. And so I find myself with Tom Cruise sometimes being like that. But then, you watch Top Gun, you're like, yeah, fuck it. It's too entertaining. I can't. I'm wearing aviators for God's
Cognitive
sakes.
distance.
So
separate the art and the artist.
I know. I'm trying. I'm trying so hard. Yeah, like it is. There's a lot. They're across the board generationally. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how long Jack Del Rio lasts. This will be interesting because you don't need him. I mean, at the end of the day, he is not the end all be all of whether that team succeeds. So you are very replaceable. Very, as we all know. That's all I got.
Let's talk
By the
about
way,
Top Gun.
Hustle's out officially. Can we please talk about Top Gun?
Let's talk about Top Gun.
I'm ready.
All right, are we reviewing it first? Like, how are we? I mean,
I think just a
what else
couple
is there to say
notes,
besides
and
it's
then
awesome?
we'll hop into the sportscasting.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Is
Okay.
this when we tell people spoilers coming?
Oh, are
Yeah.
there spoilers? Well, they knew.
If you haven't seen Top Gun yet, first of all, what
What
are you doing?
Yeah,
But
what are you doing?
go see Top Gun, then come back and listen to the rest of this podcast.
If I went to a theater, honestly, and it's been 7 years since I had, then everyone should have seen Top Gun by now. There is no excuse.
Mr.
But there is
Michelle
no
has
real
sacrificed
spoiler. Look,
for
Goose
you.
died in the first one. Yeah, Michelle sacrificed 3 hours of doing nothing to do nothing in a theater, and it was amazing. But, okay, is this true? It has grossed over $600 million already? Without China and Russia?
That's right.
Damn. Wow, I wonder what kind of percentage old Tommy C is getting on this kind of stuff.
What are his back end points?
Enormous.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
can
Yeah, because,
buy-
right, that's basically how you get paid these days.
How much of it is going? Never mind.
He
never
is
mind,
the
never
whole
mind, never mind.
franchise,
Let's
and
not
he's the
get into that.
executive producer of it. So
The thing that I
whatever
thought was
amount of
interesting
money
was
an actor can
that
get.
it might be his first movie to ever cross $1 billion.
Boy,
Oh,
keep
no.
it in.
Oh, no.
Keep it in.
Don't die.
God, that was a sneeze.
I mean-
Nah, he's making a killing. I predicted this, guys, on this podcast months ago. I told you this was going to be the biggest movie of all time.
You did say that. Okay, so let me think. What does it have to beat? How is Avatar still that high up on the list? I don't understand. That was not that good a movie, but whatever. It's like about $3 billion. Is that $3 billion? I can't do that many zeros. My head
2
hurts.
plus. It's going to get there.
You think it's gonna? Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. If it says 600 now and we're 10 minutes into this thing, good lord.
Yeah.
Okay, but thumbs up, thumbs down. Any complaints? How do we feel about the movie itself?
Complaints? What? Who's complaining about this?
I don't know. I'm surprised Gabe doesn't have like one devil's advocate moment. to say
No,
about
we're
it.
going to do sportscasting in a little bit, and I can nitpick here and there. But
Okay,
no,
good.
this was basically a perfect movie from my perspective. It was made exactly for, us, Beadle. But we have this whole group of people who work on this show who needed to be converted. And all of them unanimously
More
have come
gaslighting.
around to say this movie was fabulous. Paige can speak for herself, but Kara and Quincy behind the scenes, all they want to talk about nowadays is Top Gun. Multiple other people we work with have been texting. I've seen the word perfect movie
Damn.
referenced. I don't know how you manage to straddle the line between like corny and self-referential and like genuinely like brings a tear to your eye. And in like each of the cases where they could have screwed it up, and there were a few really risky ones,
Sure.
they still nailed it.
Nailed it.
The use of Talk to Me Goose, nailed it. The use of Val Kilmer, Iceman, nailed it. The use of the recreation of the volleyball scene, nailed it. Obviously, everything in the planes, nailed.
Oh, the flying scenes are silly. I was emotional from the moment the original soundtrack starts with the footage of the planes taking off and landing on the aircraft carrier. Like I was like that low dome, and then it starts building and building and building. I was like, oh crap, I'm already like crying, and like this is gonna be great. And then when they showed, or when they had Val Kilmer, well, even when they referenced him first, because you don't see him right away. It's like a couple references here and there, and you're just like, oh crap. I just thought it was just like even little things they brought back. Like they brought back Penny. Penny was a throwaway line in the first movie. Like legitimately was just a passing reference by Goose to Maverick. And so that was like, I had to go back and remember that because I'm like, who the hell's Penny? Why are we acting like we're supposed to know who Penny? That's who Penny was. So I just think it was so well done and so well cast and entertaining as all hell. And I want to go see it again in those movie theaters where the chairs move because I feel like the plane scenes with those chairs is going to be like a whole nother ball game. So I'll probably go to do that next. That's going to be my life now, going back to the movies. Paige, as the new generation who may not have felt the nostalgia the same way.
No, I did a little bit. First of all, I just want to say for the record, again, I have seen the first Top Gun. Okay, I have seen it and I enjoyed it. It's been a while, but I'm familiar. Probably not to the same level of you two in terms of nostalgia, but I loved it. I thought it was a really enjoyable, fun action movie. I left it feeling energized and psyched. I would have liked to have seen, which we can get into in sportscasting, I would have liked to have seen more from Jay Ellis's character. I don't know. I felt like he was really thrown in my face in the promo, and then he kind of faded away from me. I'm not saying he didn't add to like the plot. I'm just saying like in general. Yeah, payback. Sorry, Jay Ellis' character.
He's like the Rick Rossovich character from round one. He's there. He's in every scene. He says maybe a couple words here and there, but at the end of the day, not really a part of it. That's basically who Jay Ellis was.
It's not a real note.
And there's a few of those in the first one.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Great. You were ridiculous. By the way, our own Kara is reporting that apparently Tom Cruise got around $12.5 million for the contract, and then 10% of what it makes. Ooh, good God Almighty! You could keep that $12.5 million. You can just burn that for all I care. I'll just take the 10%. All right, so we're going to take a break because we haven't done one of these in a while, and this was calling for it. We are going to sportscast Top Gun Maverick with characters from this year's NBA Finals. We'll be right back. Are you a basketball fan? Well, with Sling TV, you can get every playoff game for the best price, hands down, all for just $35 a month. You'll get all the upsets, the comebacks, buzzer beaters, alley-oops, game sevens, foul-outs, tip-offs, crossovers, dynasties, and rivalries. You get and ones, threes, and if you're lucky, a triple-double. Yeah, there's a lot to love about playoff basketball, and you can get it all with Sling for the best price. But there's still more to watch. Sling has your favorite live sports, news, and popular TV shows on channels like ESPN, TNT, TBS, MSNBC, CNN, and more. Sling is easy to set up and easy to use. You can stream on any device and record up to 50 hours with included DVR space. And one more time, did I mention you can watch every playoff basketball game for the best price with Sling? Check out sling.com for special offers. Sling, the live TV you love for a price you'll love. Try us today. We are back. We have we've not done this in a hot minute, but we are going to sportscast Top Gun Maverick, which is basically taking the characters from the movie and then putting our own characters in there. We're going to pull from the NBA Finals, players, coaches, whoever, anybody that's in and around the finals this year. And so obviously we're going to start at the top, which is always the hardest, I think, for me, with Maverick, of course, played by Tom Cruise. Who are you guys casting as Maverick?
Go ahead, Paige.
Okay, for me, no-brainer, Steve Kerr.
These are tough. Oh, okay.
Most confirmed kills of anyone on the court.
No-brainer. I think it's a brainer.
Most confirmed kills of anyone on the court.
Wow.
Leader. Icon.
Okay.
Steve Kerr.
He's definitely a leader. Damn, that's way better than mine. Okay, yeah, no, I'm going to steal hers. Gabe?
I obviously want to cast Steve Kerr in an important role. I'm saving him. He is not my choice. Look, Maverick is special. And I hate to start on one with a disclaimer, but I do not think there's anyone on the court or involved in this series that is at Tom Cruise's level as Maverick.
Agreed.
So, like, maybe we could argue Steph Curry or something. There's no superstar out here, anything like Tom Cruise in terms of pure watchability and versatility, nothing like it. That said, in the world of tangential to the finals, a guy with totally irrational confidence right now, someone who I probably shouldn't like, but I have to admit I kind of love, JJ Redick.
Wow.
Give me JJ Redick as Maverick.
See, I weirdly enough have JJ Redick, but not here. Like, that's interesting to me that you did pull a JJ Redick moment. And you are right in all the ways you described JJ Redick currently as he exists in the Mediaverse. Okay, God, Steve Kerr, I still think is the best. So my issue, and I was trying to do Maverick and Rooster together because for me that was sort of the tie-in. There is obviously no logical like, hey, I played with your dad and now we have a weird relationship, but we're going to make up. No, that doesn't exist, right? But I was trying to go back from earlier in the season. And for me, I went back to when Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were sort of butting heads and then had to have a third party come in and kind of just say, hey, guys, let's just chill out and do better. We can be better. So I'm just going to do mine right now as a duo because for me, these were the two hardest anyways. I have Jason Tatum as Maverick and Jaylen Brown as Rooster.
Okay.
It was tough for me though. These are not my favorite.
I like the logic I applied.
That's not making
elsewhere.
600 million.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, see? Okay, yeah. Because it's definitely a dynamic, but it was hard to figure out where to put it. Okay.
I applied that
okay.
elsewhere. Mm-hmm.
All right, who do y'all have for Rooster?
Yeah, you want to go to Rooster?
Well, so I acknowledge that Jaylen Brown sort of made some sense here. Jordan Poole, you can make an argument there. Sort of but here's the thing. Miles Teller is not actually like arriving on the scene. Like this dude's sort of been around and we've been told he was going to be great many, many times. He's even looked great a few times in the past. He's just always been a little below the surface. And so for me, the guy who makes the most sense right now, as he might be breaking out into what he actually should have been all along, is Andrew Wiggins.
God, that is mine as well.
That's a good one.
NBA All-Star.
That's
a good.
Good one.
This is good. Okay, I feel good about that. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
mine. That was mine.
Late bloomer.
Late bloomer for sure. Yeah, because he was supposed to be it. He got paid like he was it, and then just didn't really become it until now. All right, I like that one. God, you guys are crushing it. Okay.
He's an all-star.
Arguably, and Iceman, the best character in the entire franchise. Who do y'all have as Iceman? Paige.
For me, pretty obvious. We got old, dependable,
Stop saying that.
15-year career. He's lovable. He deserves it. He might die soon. That's Al Horford.
He might die soon?
I don't know.
Good
I'm just joking.
Lord.
I'm just joking.
Al Horford.
From basketball,
Interesting.
not
God, I
life.
have Al Horford on here, but not there. Okay.
He's a veteran.
Yeah, no,
He's been around
I
the
didn't
most.
want to go that dark, and I have Al
Sorry.
Horford. I have him later in a more positive way.
Me too.
I have he's still part of the team. He's still a legend. He's still a guy we're rooting for. All the good things. But let's be honest, he's not a big part of the plot right now, Klay Thompson.
I like that because he was sort of gone for a while and then he returned. He's
back.
Which I was trying to play with that. So I did an or here because in keeping with my Maverick Rooster casting, I would have Marcus Smart would have been the obvious choice here, who's sort of like the outlier, but also weirdly enough, the thing that brings everyone together and is lovable, but in a very abrasive kind of edged way. But in a more obvious choice, I threw Mike Breen in here because we didn't have Mike Breen for a few games. He was sick. The voice was a little iffy, and he's also, for me, a part of the whole equation that I love. Like, I love Mike Breen. I love him calling games the same way I love Iceman, and I wouldn't want to see a Top Gun without him. So I have Mike Breen or Marcus Smart, but I'd prefer Mike Breen.
I like Mike Breen.
Mike Breen all the way. That's
I
a great
vote for that.
Okay.
That's a good one.
All right, fair enough. Shout out MB. Okay. A new character in this one. Hangman, who had a great helmet, by the way. Gabe, you go first.
Yeah, so I think I'm supposed to hate this guy. I love him. And I'm just like weirdly attracted to this guy. All the swag in the world. Like, I don't really know what the hell is going on here, but like it's obvious when I look at this person, I'm like, you are going to be the biggest star of all of these people, of course, excluding Tom Cruise. So it's Draymond. It's just Draymond.
Wow, what?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have him too.
I can't quite put my finger on it, but it works.
Doesn't give a fuck.
God.
It's Draymond.
I do not have Draymond. I, oddly enough, do not have Draymond cast at all. Although I didn't really get a Phoenix one.
He's one of the villains.
Oh, so for me, Hangman, yeah, he's definitely a villain. But for me, Hangman is a character much like he is the Iceman of the 2022 version, right? He is cocky beyond words. He thinks he's the best. He has a bit of an edge, but not really. But at the end of the day, has to have his ass saved. Okay? And so for me, that's Jordan Poole. I think Jordan Poole is cocky, got some arrogance, but as we're seeing in these finals so far, not quite doing what he did in the regular season, and we're still waiting on that being saved at all, if at all, by teammates. So that's mine. Jordan Poole, Hangman. Draymond. No. Although I didn't know where to put him. Oh, okay. The prettiest member of the cast, Penny, as played by
Steph
Jennifer
Curry.
Connelly. What? Did you just literally go with prettiest?
Well, I hadn't considered that, but I mean, she delivers in the film, and he delivers pretty consistently. Bonus, not listed, I think Jordan Poole is Penny's daughter.
Oh my God, what? Penny's daughter was adorable too. That's a good point. That's a good call. Okay.
That's
Gabe, what about you?
I feel like this is a little bit of a danger zone for me, pun intended.
Get it?
Oh,
Yeah. So look,
way too.
Jennifer Connelly, there have been times in the last 20 years where I'm convinced this is the most beautiful and talented person on earth. And then there are times I'm like, where is she? Or like, what is she doing? And so I think even though I mostly thought she was great, I'm still not 100% convinced this is the best possible person for the job. Jason Tatum. Like I'm not 100% there.
What do you mean you're not 100% there on Jason Tatum?
I just don't see it night in, night out. At his best, he's like Jennifer Connelly, nothing better. But the rest of the time, I don't know.
So I will say this was my pet peeve about Jennifer Connelly's character. All I really ever saw her do was wipe the bar and ring that bell. And there were no other bartenders, and the bar was always full. So I couldn't figure out how those drinks were getting made and or delivered. But that's neither here nor there. That's just semantics. But I'm going to go with, the thing about Penny is, who was Penny? She wasn't in the first one. She was a sentence. She was a figment of our imagination, and she showed up, and she was a major part of this movie. And for me, that was, over the last 2 years, Klay Thompson. Where was he? Well, we know where he was, but we didn't get to see him for reasons that we all know about, obviously, by now. And I think Klay Thompson is also a fairly pretty human being on a more literal take of this casting. So I'm going to go Klay Thompson on this one. We both have really good hair.
Yeah, that's good. I think the thing that's interesting here, and maybe not perfect to get into on this podcast, is like big L's for Meg Ryan and Kelly McGinnis here. Like everyone else is back, and obviously something isn't quite right with that.
Doesn't Kelly not act anymore? I read some article where they were sort of trying to like make it sound like, oh, they didn't even ask her, and it's like she's not a working actor. So
yeah.
Right. No. And look, nobody wins because the optics of it are, here are these two women from the original who have both gone on to age the way women are supposed to age, which isn't always perfect. And so it looks like, one gained a bunch of weight and the other one's unrecognizable, so we didn't want to cast either one. That's what it looks like. But in reality, I don't think McGillis has done anything in a couple decades. And as for Meg, I don't know about Meg Ryan, because that to me is one of the Hollywood mysteries that has not yet been solved. Because literally America's sweetheart and then disappeared. Not sure.
Well, I've heard both of them have left Hollywood. Like, I think they're living out in the country.
But let me ask you this: did they leave Hollywood, or did Hollywood leave them?
Well, good question.
New spin-off pod.
Goddamn men. Men are the worst. Okay, Phoenix, I got nothing. So you guys take it away. Phoenix was irrelevant to me.
That's sort of exactly where I was, Bede. So we're in a safe space, right?
I think so.
Sure.
It's just us.
What was this character doing in the movie? Like,
I don't know.
Like,
she's a woman,
dude. If you're signing up for Top Gun, you're signing up for like hyper masculinity. Like, we don't just.
All right, it's not that.
We have women fighter pilot jet.
Not that safe.
Yeah, no, it's not that space, you ass.
What? Like,
because we technically, the difference between now and 1986 was we actually do have female fighter pilots. I don't think we had anything to talk about back then.
All right, but fine. But like they didn't write her a real part. She didn't do anything or say anything. We don't remember what she was doing. She was forced in for some reason, maybe not because she's a woman. They just needed a person in there to read a few expository lines. We should have had less of them. Just like the refs in this series. We don't need you there. We don't need you there.
The refs are not needed.
I slow played you. See? That wasn't sexism.
Like that.
That was a joke.
That was as so often
her
they are
best
with
moments
you,
were the
Gabe.
beginning of the movie. Right? Like that was wow. Refs not needed. That's a
Sex
hot
and
take, Gabe.
into
It's a hot
jokes.
take.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did you cast this one, or did you ignore it?
My thought. Okay, I went with, and I'm going to skip down a little bit, but I went with for Phoenix and Bob being a duo. That's where I put Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
What? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Two of the major players in the NBA Finals you have as throwaway, glorified.
They're not
extras.
taking those parts.
How is that?
They're just so great
No,
together.
where are they taking those parts? Look, Bob and
if I'm
Phoenix
their
were a
agent,
great
I won't
combo.
let that happen. Yeah.
Like my
those parts
clients are above
sucked.
this. Yeah, those parts are for somebody else,
yeah.
not my stars.
But I struggled to put them
Okay, well
elsewhere,
that
and I
now we're
wanted to
getting
get
back.
them
I
in
feel
there.
like, to me,
Yeah.
well, I have somebody for Bob. Should we skip to Bob since we're on? I mean,
let's
we can
skip
do
to
Bob
Bob.
real quick because I actually threw Al Horford in for Bob because I think Bob was underestimated. People thought he has zero value here and they just wanted to make fun of him and kind of throw him away, whereas that's what the league sort of did to Al Horford for a minute. He was sort of thrown into different team situations only to really want to be back in Boston and thrive, and I think Bob became a very lovable part of Maverick.
Justice for Bob.
So that's
That's
my
good, Bob.
Plus his name's Bob. Yeah.
Bob.
Gabe, did you do a Bob?
I did, and I'm most proud of this one. So just stay
Wow.
with me for a sec here. Bob, so
Okay.
I don't really know what Bob is doing. I don't know what his qualifications are. I don't really know anything about Bob other than that he's a nerd there to support the stars. So, Bob will be played by that white-haired guy who warms Steph Curry up all the time. I don't know his name. I don't know his job on the team.
The
But
guy
he's
that sits
great at
next
what
to
he
Steve
does.
Kerr.
Yeah, he's just there all the time, bounce passing. He's always, in every picture of Steph Curry, he's right there by his side as his wingman. I just don't have any idea who he is or what he does.
Oh my God, what is his? I can't believe I'm drawing.
Nobody knows that
by the
guy's
way.
name.
But I know his name. I've known his name. Why can't I think of his name? This is embarrassing. We know his
And
name.
by the way, he's
for the love of
probably
God.
a little too handsome for this part. Bob's kind of
He is
even
handsome.
dorkier.
Yeah, no, he is. Oh my God.
He's always in
like
shorts
Kerr's
and like
right-hand
a
man.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's with Curry nonstop pregame. All he does is feed him balls to shoot. He's perfect at it. They obviously have a great relationship. He's very trusted, but he's
Very.
in a way
Bruce
interchangeable.
Frazier.
Just like Bob.
And
Is that
also,
the name?
he even sits next to him during games.
That's probably him, yeah.
That doesn't
Sounds
Bruce
sound right.
Frazier. Does that sound?
No, it doesn't sound right to me at all.
Doesn't sound
Are you
right.
sure?
Okay. I don't know. I literally Googled. Do you want to know
this
the words I
guy right
Googled?
here. Who's this
Guy
guy?
who warms up Steph Curry.
Some listener can help us with this one. Everyone knows who I'm
It's that guy
Everyone
right
knows
there.
who
I'm
I'm talking
staring
about.
right at him. Yeah, but now it's going to bug us. It's like, oh, wait, hold on. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. It is. Okay, Ron Adams.
Swear to
Mike
God,
Brown.
if you say Bruce
No, that's not
Frazier.
him. Well, maybe it is Bruce.
Fraser.
I'll look him
Why
up.
did I not think his name was Bruce? Anyways, okay. That's pretty good,
All right.
though. I like that. Because he is, yeah, he's his guy. All right, we're going back up because now I feel like John Hamm. Cyclone.
100% by the way,
character.
Bruce Frazier. That's who it is.
Yeah, it's like, God, it doesn't look like a Bruce to me. Why did I think his name was something else? But yeah.
out
Okay. Cyclone played by John Hamm. Who you got?
I went with someone who complains a lot, which is Jeff Van.
I feel like the ladies ought to go first here. Yeah.
Jeff Van Gundy?
Filled in for Breen.
Am I drunk?
Complains about
Did you
the
just say
rest a lot.
Jeff Van Gundy?
Yeah.
For John.
I'm not going on looks. I'm going off of vibe.
Even
have
I know
to go.
that's
This
wrong.
is-
Vibe.
Okay, but
Only.
we're casting a movie. Looks are part of it. Okay. So this is where so John Hamm's character is
That's the worst possible pick.
it's the,
sucks
honestly,
so
I would have
bad.
rather you pick like the first security person that stands on the court during a timeout. Like that would have been a better pick than Jeff Van Gundy for John
goodness.
Hamm's character.
Goodness gracious.
But also now I love it because it makes no sense. So John Hamm's character, if you haven't seen the movie, shame on you, but he is a dick. Like he is the man in charge who hates Tom Cruise's character for reasons that you understand, obviously. He's a military guy, plays by the rules, gets pissed off at rebels, yada, yada. Also kind of bitches and whines about a lot of stuff. So for me, this is where I put JJ Redick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
For me,
I like
JJ
that
Redick,
better.
John Hamm, they're like unlikable, but they're supposed to be unlikable. So they're like, yeah, you're doing it right. Yeah, they're doing it right. Gabe, who you got?
Well, I put a little bit more of a forgiving spin on his character. I agree with your whole description, but I would like to look at the Cyclone character as just a total stud who speaks his mind. He's not afraid of a confrontation if it's called for, but he'll acknowledge game when he sees it. You know, he's not above
That's
that.
fair. Yeah.
Steve Kerr. Plus, like, you know, he could carry it.
That's true. Steve Kerr's got movie star face.
Yeah.
John Hamm's movie star face.
I
Yeah,
like
can
yours
see that.
better, though. So the problem is now we have Reddick and Kerr in two very important roles, either way.
Right? Which
What
is
have we
good because I
done?
didn't have a place for Kerr, and I love Kerr, so that I'm happy you guys figured out. I know. Well, we're changing a movie and making it better, probably. All right. For me, an underrated character in the movie, someone who every time he was on the screen, I was in love with, Warlock, as played by Charles Parnell. Who do y'all have?
Yeah, he's old and steady. I don't really remember a single thing he did in this movie, to be honest with you, Beadle. But I know he's like, I guess he's pretty good. Al Horford.
He's awesome. Wow. You guess he's pretty... Okay, Paige.
I went with Andre Iguodala. That's
No,
it.
that's not even it. You want to try again?
Nope, that's
strike
my
out.
suggestion.
No, but you want to say his name again, or do you want to say
No,
Iguodala again,
I
or do
know
you
I
wanna try to
messed
say
it up,
differently?
and I panic every time I have to read his name, and I just don't want to. Again, if I'm being honest, so please don't make me.
Just call it. You know what?
you.
Iggy. Just say Iggy. Iggy's
Thank
the fix.
you.
Yeah, Iggy's
Usually I
easy.
write out
Everyone knows what you're talking about.
pronunciations. I didn't
Yeah,
do it today.
no.
Sorry.
Well, none of us would have needed it. Would only be for you, so that's weird.
You should have gone with Stan Van Gundy.
I wish there was a play. No, because it's ESPN. Damn it.
Can't do it.
See, mine is for Warlock. Warlock is a man. He's an authority figure, right? He's a man that's supposed to play by the rules, but he also has this side of him that relates to the players. That, in this case, the younger soldiers, I guess. And he sort of just gets them as well, so he can straddle that fence. And for me, it's Ime Udoka.
Okay, good.
I think he's done a good job of both.
I like that.
Okay.
That's a good one.
I wanted him
Payback's a
cast and I didn't have
throwaway.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Payback played by Jay Ellis. Like, Paige wanted more for him, so I'm not sure what you did with this one.
I went with Klay Thompson for that exact role. It's like we know he's there, and
She just
Luckily for us, Paige's
do
internet
something.
just stopped working.
oh my god!
Now Paige. Spectrum is giving you an assist here. It's like, hey, Paige, you need a break. We don't need to hear from you anymore. Let me just sit this one out while your internet reconnects.
I mean, Payback is just happy to be there, so the obvious choice is Mark Jackson.
Yeah, I said I don't even know, honestly don't know who this was in the movie. I don't remember this character. I don't know like what the hell he mattered for, but I guess he was technically on screen if you listed him. So is it Robert
totally.
Williams? Is that who the center is for the Celtics? The guy no one needs to talk about? That guy.
Well, I mean, sometimes you talk about, how dare you disrespect Jay Ellis. By the way, you know who you left off, Paige? For me, that was a character that I think everyone loves. Hondo. Who's Tom Cruise's boy. They're like best friends, and like he's always in on the sort of dumb shit that Tom Cruise is trying to pull off, and it starts from the beginning of the movie, and he has his back, and he's there. He's like an awesome cheerleader, and I went ahead and threw Hondo in there, and I made that Paul Pierce. So I felt like Paul Pierce
perfect
deserved
casting.
a role in our finals version of Top Gun.
I like it.
Did anyone else have bonuses? God, this is
I already mentioned Penny's daughter.
freaking
Jordan
hard
Poole.
to do, by the way. Yeah, you did do that.
I have a suggestion I'm making sort of on the fly here because I think that Paige also, maybe her spectrum crapped out when she tried to write this part of the script. She also left out a very important character played by a big name actor. Chester Hammer, Ed Harris's character.
Oh gosh, right. Ed Harris
Guys,
was like a
Ed Harris was
I would
in
like
it.
to point out that none of
And
this is a
since-
surprise. You have seen this list for 2 days. At any point, You could have added to it. Okay.
That's
Yeah,
why we
but-
added ours. I was like, no, I'm not going to give him Hondo. Hondo's my surprise. No way am I sharing that. Who'd you put
So-
for Ed Harris? Because that's a good
That
one.
is
I wasn't gonna have
That's
anyone, but I
egregious.
realized Paige screwed up twice. So she screwed up leaving him out,
She's gonna
and
get
she
fired.
brought Jeff Van Gundy to an audition and then completely miscast him. So I'm putting Jeff Van Gundy and all his Larry David energy into the Ed Harris part.
Imagine John Hamm casting a movie about his life, and he's trying to figure out who's going to play John Hamm. And Paige shows up with her client, Jeff effing Van Gundy, and was like, I would like to submit my client to play John Hamm in the role of a Lifetime. Oh, if I was John Hamm, I'd be so insulted. I'd probably, and I like Jeff Van Gundy, but no. I feel good, guys. Once again, Hollywood, we are all here. We are all available via DMs, text, emails, what have you. If you want to bring us on to cast your next big movie, we can do it. I know we have to take a break because we have, what do we have? Some voicemails, some texts, something like that. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up. We are back. We're going to wrap things up on our Top Gun special edition of What Did I Miss? Paige, what do you have?
So we got a few texts. One just off the top. I think one of the primary times that I was bullied on the show was our previous Top Gun conversation. So I just want to say that someone did text in with hashtag Team Page. So thank you to that person, who is probably my friend, which is fine. Someone else asked,
And is that person related to you?
We don't need to. It's fine. I have a lot of relations. What is your call sign? What would your call sign be if you're in Top Gun? That's a weird way to say that.
Oh, God.
Okay, Beats.
I would like to be Ballbuster. like, that's mine. That's mine. Yes. Okay. That's tough, though. Okay. Ballbuster, come in. Ballbuster, come in. SOS, Ballbuster. Yeah, no, I like
Talk
it.
to me,
Say it loud.
Ballbuster.
Okay, Gabe.
I'd go with crotchety.
Talk to me, Ballbuster.
Yeah, I'd go crotchety. So you'd be like, crotchety, what's wrong up there? Like, God damn it! Fall in line, Ballbuster.
We lost Crotchety. He's gone. Paige? Oh, I can't wait for Pages.
Mine would be Rampage.
Here we go.
Rampage, spelled like my name. Rampage.
Rampage?
Rampage.
Oh, that's not bad. But you get to actually include your name. Yeah, that's
what I'm
actually
saying.
pretty good. No one has their actual name in their call signs.
First time for everything.
I think a better call sign for Paige might be 3G, because that's about all that she communicates.
I call her Radiator. Radiator, come in. Like, you've got 1,000. None of them are rampagey. Like it's got to be one of these. Oh, man. Okay. No, I want people to write in. What is Paige's call sign?
Yeah. You know what? I'll take suggestions. That's fine.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
And then the last text
I like
was
it.
someone...
631-397-0403.
Yeah.
Text us Paige's call sign. Do we get anything else?
The last one was from someone, Kelsey from Hi there, Kelsey from Rhode Island here. Did Top Cruise just save movie theaters? My goodness. Kelsey, we're with you.
I mean, yeah, right? Look, I can only speak for myself. It's the first dollar I've spent in a movie theater in almost a decade. So, yeah. For me, yes.
Guys, I've talked to you about this offline. I want to bring it up here and let the audience... We always end on these sort of unanswerable questions. Here's the question I have for you guys. It has nothing to do with eyes and legs or doors and windows or whatever. We know Tom Cruise is like a mega superstar, but is he the most versatile superstar in history? Because I will put to you, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself a little bit, I will put to you that not only is he, of course, an incredible action star, maybe the best ever, he's in the best romantic comedy of all time in Jerry Maguire,
Love.
the best drama of all time in A Few Good Men. He's been in Oscar-nominated parts playing crazy-ass roles, and we, of course, can't forget his cameo as a hilarious dude in Tropic Thunder. So, like, he's not just Maverick, or even just
No.
Ethan Hunt. He's all those things.
Yeah. Born on the 4th of July. Like, that
Yeah.
is not a light movie. Yeah, I'm while you're asking that, I was trying to think of like other just giant movie stars that
Rain
are
Man,
diverse.
Collateral,
Oh, God,
totally
Rain
different
Man.
types of roles.
I don't know anyone because Tom Hanks, great actor, but not an action star.
No.
What about Will Smith?
You know. Well, he's kind of in trouble right now.
Yeah, I mean, putting aside
Making any movies, and I would say his movies aren't. I don't think his movies are nearly as like he's had some giant ones. Don't get me wrong, obviously, but not. I don't think they're on the level of Tom Cruise.
I think that Will Smith is the only competitor Tom Cruise has in this argument, right? Like as much as I love The Rock is not all the way there.
What about
like,
Matt Damon?
He's great. Right, but do you really? I mean, Damon is close. Damon is really close.
I'm trying to hit the genres like action star, serious drama.
Yeah, okay.
Comedy.
You know what? Damon's in the finals as well, because from Good Will Hunting to the Bourne series, and then like incredibly funny parts.
Yeah, what's the
also.
one where he's the Siamese twin with like Greg Kinnear, where they're attached?
Yeah, I forgot, but
That
it was
one-
a
that-
Farrelly Brothers movie.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's goofy. So yeah, because I feel Good
Road
Good Will
Trip,
Hunting.
of course.
Oh, what was his name? Stevie doesn't know.
Or was it Euro Trip? Maybe
Euro
it's
Trip. Euro Trip.
Scotty doesn't
Something doesn't know.
That was
Scotty.
Stevie.
Scotty.
Stevie doesn't. Scotty doesn't
Scotty
know.
doesn't.
know.
Oh, Paige!
Hey, way to go, Paige!
Paige!
Paige! Got her reference. She's back.
Look at that. You're not fired. Woohoo! That was close. That was a close one today. Yeah, that's good. Another one. If you guys can think of anyone that's on the level or bigger than Tom Cruise as far as a bona fide movie star, can do it all, let us know. Because so far we got Will Smith and Matt Damon, possibly.
Yeah. I just can't think of anyone else at that level. I mean,
either.
Affleck probably wishes he was, but I don't think so.
Shoot. Nah, he ain't. That's going to do it for us, guys, right? Tell you
Yeah.
guys, go to YouTube, rate, review, subscribe. As I said, 631-397-0403. That's our phone number to send a text, leave an email, send a voicemail. I don't know. Any of those things. And if you haven't seen Top Gun Maverick, we're not being paid by them. Go see it. Although they could afford to pay us at this point. They could afford to pay all of us,
We'll accept
every single
it.
person in the country, at least $1. Well, accept it. Guys, it's been real. I'll see you on the next one.